Hey Internet Void, I just wanted to make a quick video to help some people get some rare mounts with the new leveling changes that have come with Shadowlands. Specifically Chromie Time. Chromie Time puts you in a phased and scaled version of the world, not just the specific expansion you choose, but the whole world. And what I've noticed is this has made rares a lot easier to find. Why is that? You're phased out from everyone not in Chromie Time, so that's mostly max level players. Though, max level players are, well, most players. Not everyone's leveling. Most people just play max level, endgame stuff. So you're phased away from all of them. In addition to that, there's additional phasing with war mode on and off, so you have two separate phases there. And I could be wrong, but I'm assuming there are more people with war mode off than on, so you probably have a better chance of finding them with it on, which is what I'd recommend. You also get to use the honor talents, which could help you in this, because killing these, at least the rares that I have been getting today, have been Warlords of Draenor rares. Maybe it applies to other expansions. Depends on how they're tuned, really, as I'll explain here. What makes this particularly strong is the rares in WoD are tuned as like a group kill. They were tuned that way in the past, if I remember correctly. So, if you look here, I have 4k HP, 5k with my priest buff. These rares will have like 130k HP around there. Like, I just killed Nak the Thunder like an hour or two ago. I believe he had 133k HP. I killed Pound Fist this morning before work. I believe he had 126, if I remember correctly. 126,000. And I got both of those kills today. One before work, Pound Fist, and one after work, Nak the Thunder. Both of these rares are guaranteed to drop their respective mounts. Nak the Thunder drops this Bloodhoof Bull, and Pound Fist drops the Sunhide Gronly. There are a couple other Warlords of Draenor rares that I will personally be keeping an eye out for. Another one here in the Grand that I'm keeping watch for. But anyway, so because they're tuned with so much health, and they do have a lot of damage as well, I'm playing a priest, so granted I'm a clothy, but their melee attacks were just dealing like 10 to 30% of my health, depending on whether or not I had Power Word Shield up, because that reduces my physical damage taken. And they can have abilities that, you know, deal more damage or knock you around. I didn't notice it so much on Nok the Thunder because I had a group for that. I'll get into that in a bit. But Pound Fist, he had this one ability that he did every so often that's just like an AoE little slam on the ground. It does like all around him and then like a little bit in front of him. And that would take like 40% of my health if I got hit by it, and it would knock me back a hair. So, try to side dodge it, but I did get hit by it several times. So, most players are probably having a hard time soloing this, or these rares, depending on which spec they're playing. I tried Pound Fist at first as Shadow, and I easily died. I didn't have the self-sustain, so at that point I tried to get players to help me. This was like 8:30, 9 in the morning. So no one really, there were a few other players on the zone, but nobody responded. And I was like, crap, what do I do? So I thought, I'll try it as Disc. At that point, I'm a healer, and I'm the healer with damage. It's not a ton of damage, but it is damage. and I can keep myself alive. And that worked pretty well. I took like 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. I didn't pay attention to how long it killed me, or how long it took for me to kill it, but I did get it killed. So bear that in mind. This is going to take a while. If you make a mistake, that can be incredibly frustrating, because if you have a 30%, then you die. It's going to take you forever to get back to 30%. Like, these fights take a while, depending on whether or not you have people, or your spec. I imagine tanks can do this really well. I'm not sure. I would recommend disc, because I know that works pretty well. If you're curious, I'm using, you can see the talents here: Schism, Machoism for a little bit extra healing. Don't need the mobility at all. Mind Bender, just one of the 3 talents to give me back mana, and then Shining Force doesn't help at all. None of these really help at all, because these rares are immune to all of these effects. But if you play something that can solo it, then you have an advantage, and other players are likely to just skip the rare, maybe attempt it once, realize they can't even get close to killing it, and move on. Or, like I said, you can find a group for it, which, that makes it obviously a lot easier. I would still recommend that you have somebody in the group for healing, because as I said, they have a lot of health. Even with multiple players, it's going to take you a while to kill them. And they do a lot of damage, so it's not going to take them too long to kill a player that can't keep themselves alive. So I would recommend that you have somebody that can sustain the group or themselves, who is specifically is the one being attacked. So Knock the Thunderer, which is the Bloodhoof Bull mount, he spawned around here, and this area, as you can see, once the mobs spawn in, there are a bunch of elites who still have a lot more health than I do. Not 133k, but 23k. It's still more than 4 times my health. I was trying to clear an area for me to fight Knock the Thunderer alone, and I had some allies roll up. What you can do is, if you run into that problem, because if you're doing this with war mode on, you may have to fight for the rares. That's just how it is. It's probably still better because it's easier to find them, so even if you get a rare taken from you, you can just find it again later. Hopefully without too much issue. But what you could do is try to keep them from getting the mount kill until you can get reinforcements. And as I said, if you're trying to get people to help, be sure to include what the rare is about. Include that it drops a mount, guaranteed. That it is a rare mount. Because some of these players, they just simply don't know. Which is fair enough. There are a ton of rares around here. Who would know if one drops a mount and the other one doesn't? They might not even look at the differences in health bar and think there's something up. As you can see, these are just the rep rares for Nagrand, but they're up a lot. Because all these rares are up and nobody's killing them because they're pretty hard to kill and they're not relevant to leveling, which is what people are here to do. See, here's another rare that is up. Dekarhan. He's got 68k HP. This guy doesn't drop a mount, so I'm not going to bother to kill him. He drops these rep tokens with the Steam Weedle here. You can kill him if you want. It could be a way to farm these guys, but I imagine finding these on the normal phase, the non-Chromie Time phase, isn't that hard. So, if you don't know what rares you can try and get, at least with the Warlords of Draenor rares, you can, you know, Google it, wowhead it. I'll put a link in the description, at least for all the Warlords of Draenor rares. And then you can just, you know, use that link to get to where they specifically spawn. And then just camp those areas. Keep a character in Chromie Time that can solo them. I was leveling up this priest, I intend on leveling him up all the way eventually. I've been leveling a bunch of classes with this new leveling revamp. But I have since slowed down on leveling my priest because he can solo these rares, and I'm gonna try to get all the Warlords of Draenor rares that at least come, or mounts that come from killing a rare. I hope this video helped. Sorry if it was a little bit rambly. I'm just wanting to help people get these rare mounts now that they appear to be a little bit easier. At least I've been having an easier time getting the mounts. So if it did help, please give it a like. Help people see it. Just trying to help people in the WoW community get these rare mounts, since I've noticed that this is a little bit easier. You can also apply it to things like world bosses, because I've noticed that Shaw of Anger is up a lot when I'm in Pandaria and Chromie Time. But feel free to investigate. You know, maybe it'll help on other expansions like Cataclysm or Wrath of the Lich King. You never know. So, thank you. Bye!